Congratulations, Republican Party, for when you really need to take a stand, when you can use facts. Don't use facts. Don't do it. Run for cover. Run for those popularity points. Screw God-given rights. This red flag idea, oh, this is brilliant. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but there isn't a single thing you have to have checked in your background if you go buy a gun. You could be a 2-year-old child and buy a fully automatic 50 caliber weapon today. No background checks are needed. Unless that's exactly untrue. Unless that's exactly the opposite of what actually happens in America. But don't let that bother you if you're a Republican. No. Take the bait. Go with the red flag laws. So you know, if you voted for the Republicans, this is the beginning of the end of the Second Amendment. The red flag laws are the worst thing that could happen. First, it's family members who say someone needs to take their guns away without due process. Well, isn't due process the thing that, we were all about? Isn't due process the thing that separates us from those countries that just kick down doors in the middle of the night? So legal gun owners can have somebody say, let me tell you something. Let's say you have family members in, Portland. Are you even talking to your neighbors in Portland? Or your family members in Portland? Are they even talking to you now? They have Trump derangement syndrome so deeply, they hate the fact that you even own guns in the first place. They hate the fact that you have them. They hate the fact that you don't think like them. You are one immigration argument away from them calling the feds and saying you shouldn't be allowed to own guns and should have them taken away. That's what we're really talking about. And if they're keeping lists of who they think are dangerous, and you have a Justice Democrat in the White House, guess who's going to be on that list? Oh, I don't know. All of us. Oh, and the best part is, once you have some cat lady, shirt tail relative who drops a dime because they hate that you support Donald Trump, guess who's never going to be able to buy a gun again? Question 6 on the new background check asks if there's ever been a determination by a court, board, commission, or other lawful authority say that you shouldn't have a gun. You'll have to check that for the rest of your life because of the cat lady. Because someone didn't like the way you voted. Because someone who you're now divorced from, somebody in the other family that really is pissed off at you, somebody who just doesn't like the fact that you went off on immigration at Thanksgiving dinner can now call and you will never be able to have a gun again. Thank you, GOP. If you support the red flag laws, and you're a member of the GOP, I can't think of a bigger betrayal of the...
I want to read you 2 very important documents, and you've heard them before, but I want to read them to you, okay? Of course, the first one is the Second Amendment. That's the one we always fall back on. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, we all know that one. It's well known, okay? So we're not going to go and debate that very deeply. Here's the other one that's very important. It's the Fourth Amendment. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath and affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. That means that it's called due process, a very, very, very technical term. In other words, a warrant has to be issued because of probable cause. In other words, probable cause, not something you said, something you joked about, an angry moment or anything like that, but where there is truly a cause that you're probably going to do something or have done something. That's important. Have done something. There is a murder. There is a dead person. Someone has discovered an evidence that you own a gun, the same caliber as the one that was used. There is a probability that you used that gun in this murder since you were in the vicinity. So they go to a judge and they tell the judge, we have a murder and we believe that this person was there. We have witnesses to that effect, and we believe that this person owns a gun. We have witnesses to that effect, and we would like a warrant to go into his private property and see if we can find that gun. Not marijuana, not an escaped dog, that gun. And then the police come in, they show the warrant, and if they find that gun, they can legally take it. The red flag laws are different. You can have a person at a dinner party where you got into an argument with someone on a political point, which neither one of you can change or do anything about, but you're sitting there arguing over drinks. And they hate the fact that you voted for Donald Trump. They despise that fact. They've got Trump mania so bad that they can't stand it, okay? So they call up the police and they say, while I was at this party, he showed me a gun. And he began to rant and rave about what the liberals were doing and the people coming over the border. And frankly, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. Now, under the Constitution, that's not probable cause. That's a reason for the police to come around and question you. Hey, what's on your mind? Or you have a problem? Can we help? Stuff like that. But that's not a reason to come into your house and say, we have a suspicion, we have a complaint that you're angry with the illegal aliens and you're angry with the liberals and you have a gun. So we're going to have to pick your gun up because you've been red flagged. You've been red flagged and we just can't have you with a gun. There's no warrant. We didn't have to go to a judge, but we have reason to believe that you may, sometime in the future, commit a crime. Okay? That is the same thing as I used to hear in family court all the time. Do you think the child is in danger? Well, we have reason to believe that the child may be in danger. Okay? But it's not supposed to be that way. The red flag laws are completely unconstitutional under at least the First, or the Second, and Fourth Amendment. And once they start doing it, and you don't think it won't expand, have you ever known the government to enact a law where they suddenly turn around and say, well, this law is a little too strict, we're going to back up a little bit? They never do that. They never do that. You could be giving a political speech at the Capitol like I do all the time, okay? And when I give a speech, sometimes I expound on secession, okay? And it's well known that I've owned guns in the past, probably own guns in the future. So my opponents in the crowd go and they tell the popo, he was out there saying he wanted to overthrow the government. He believes in secession, and he's got guns. He's probably a danger to the community's safety. And then I lose my guns under the red flag laws. I made several videos and I've done several articles on this because this is that important to everyone to understand what a red flag law is. At first, frankly, I was a little mild on it. I thought, well, you got a guy waving a gun in the street and screaming and foaming at the mouth, somebody might want to, make a complaint on that. But now I think we need to strictly adhere to the Second Amendment, not because I want to protect the idiots or the crazy people, but because I want to protect the rest of us. Because the government never backs up. Like Ted Cruz said, if the government tells you that you don't need your guns, you need guns. Let's go a little bit further on this. I'm going to expand on what I said in my last video. There is a key phrase that appears in the Bill of Rights sometimes, And in the Second Amendment, the phrase that says, and like I said, it's boring to some of you, but a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now this line with a comma is the cause of much debate. What is a militia? What do the people have to do with it? Well, it was understood when this was written that all able-bodied men were just in the militia. That was not the army. That was the people that fought off the Indians, that secured the town, secured the county, secured the state in an emergency. And it could also include a natural catastrophe, anything that the people would come up and they'd form their militias and they would go do the job. Now, I want to go to the Fourth Amendment. It begins with that phrase, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects. Okay? And it goes on to describe the method that they can be, deprived of those effects under law with due process. Okay? There's no mention of the militia in this because the militia has nothing to do with you securing your effects in your house. The Second Amendment refers to the militia. This organization is necessary. We have to have this thing, this militia. We must have it. So the right of the people to hold on to their guns in order to do this thing can't be infringed. We can't have some people have guns and some people don't have guns when we need the militia. The Fourth Amendment comes up and actually begins with the right of the people. It did not say a militia being necessary to secure your effects, the right of the people to have these rights under this Fourth Amendment can't be infringed. It simply says the people have a right to be secure in their homes. The people have a right to own things without being taken away without due process of law. The right of the people, okay? That's the key phrase in the Bill of Rights, the right of the people. That the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. See, the government that's formed by the people, the militia that's formed by the people, and those people have rights to be secure in their homes. The rights of the people keeps coming up over and over and over again. So when they red flag your guns, at the same time they just red flag your right to possession of your effects. And you might as well just include the entire Bill of Rights. Because at the moment you take the right of the people out of the equation, then you have no.